Hello and welcome back. I'm excited to share some of the features of the MAP Growth School Profile Report. In this video, we'll go over the basics of the report, and at the end, we'll give you a few expert tips on how you can get information right now about key decisions you've made at your school. The School Profile Report is designed for the unique needs of school and district leaders. It shows how your students performed on your MAP growth assessments, covering your entire school in one centralized report. The School Profile Report supports you as you make important decisions about programs and resources, and it helps you evaluate previous decisions so you know which successes to celebrate and how to continue to adapt and adjust. Ready to open up the report for the first time? Let's dive in. To start, log in to the NWEA Start page and choose MAP Growth from the main menu. Then select School Profile. You'll need a MAP role of District Assessment Coordinator, School Assessment Coordinator, or Administrator to access the report. When you get into the report, you'll see two tabs. The first shows how students performed in a particular test term. The second shows how students performed in two different test terms and their growth in between. Let's talk about the tab that focuses on one test term. This is a great place to start once you've finished testing and want to see how your school performed. The section at the top of the report lets you choose the data you want to see. Be sure to select Update to refresh. You can use the filters for ethnicity, gender, and program to help you answer questions about equity and program effectiveness. Program data will appear here if you've set up your roster to include that information. Now let's look at the first visualization, which shows data for the whole school. The oval pill shape shows the median percentile for all students in the school. Since we're just looking at one term right now, this is the median achievement percentile. We'll talk about growth percentiles later. Achievement percentiles are based on a nationally representative sample of students in the same grade with the same number of instructional weeks before testing. Now, let's talk about distributions. The colored bars show the distribution of students across 5 percentile ranges, or quintiles. In each colored bar, you'll see the percentage of students in that quintile. In this example, the red bar shows that 32% of students at this school scored in the 20th percentile or below. Seeing how student percentiles are distributed across these different ranges can give you a sense of the academic diversity of a school. If you're ever unsure about the data in each visualization, you can expand the More Information About This Chart section for definitions and explanations. The School Profile Report is designed to let you continuously navigate through to see more granular data, all the way down to details about individual students. Now that we've seen data for the entire school, let's look at each grade. In the Achievement by Grade visualization, you'll see medians and distributions for each grade in your school. You can sort by any of the column headers, including by achievement, high to low or low to high. You can drill down even further to get details about all the classes in a grade. Select the grade you want to view. Now the first visualization on your screen shows overall performance for that grade. The second visualization shows performance data for each class with students in that grade. If you want to further refine the data, you can use the class name or educator filters. The All Grades button takes you back to the information about the entire school. I mentioned earlier the School Profile Report lets you see data for individual students. Select the oval pill shape, the median, to get detailed information about all the students in a particular population. In this case, grade 1. All of the columns in the student tables are sortable. You can also click into a particular percentile range to see just the students in that quintile. School leaders who use this report tell us they love being able to move from high-level data about their whole school all the way to class and student data without having to juggle multiple reports. Now let's look at the tab where you can get information about multiple testing terms. The fields at the top are almost the same as the first tab. The big difference is that on this tab, you'll need to select the two terms you want to compare, start term and end term. When you complete winter testing, for example, you might want to look at the growth from fall to winter. So you would choose fall for start term and winter for end term. What does this data mean? An individual student's achievement and growth percentiles are some of MapGrowth's most insightful data points. An achievement percentile tells you how a student's performance in a single term compares to their academic peers nationwide, while a growth percentile focuses on the change in score from one term to another and how that change compares to nationwide peers, students in the same grade, with the same starting RIT score, and number of instructional weeks. Let's look at growth and achievement percentiles in action, starting with an overview of the entire school's performance. The growth percentiles on the top row tell us how student growth compares to national norms. In this school, for example, 3% of students grew by leaps and bounds, showing more growth than 80% of students nationwide. The bottom row shows achievement for each of the two terms you selected. Note that the number of students includes only those who have RIT scores that can be used for growth measurements in both terms. Now let's talk about the growth and achievement quadrant. It might look familiar, since it resembles one of NWEA's pioneering reports, the ASG quadrant chart. Here on the school profile report, just like the legacy ASG report, you'll see achievement on the x-axis and growth on the y-axis. But on this report, you can view data for your entire school. Let's dive in. The points in this quadrant represent the grades in your school. Each point is at the intersection of that grade's median achievement percentile and median growth percentile. The points are color-coded by quadrant, as shown in the key. You can select a point to get specifics, including median percentiles and number of students in the grade. The View Grade Details link will give you information about classes in that grade. Select it, and your visualizations will update to narrow in on just that grade. Use the All Grades button to get back. On the quadrant, you'll also notice there's an S icon, which shows the median achievement and median growth percentiles for the school as a whole. The quadrant is designed to help you quickly spot trends and outliers, and it can be a great jumping-off point for further investigation. Before we leave the quadrant, there's one more thing. By default, the quadrant shows achievement data for the end term, but you can switch it to start term if you'd like. Now let's look at the growth and achievement by grade module. Just like we saw with the school overview, here we have growth data and achievement data for two terms, this time for every grade in the school. You can sort the data by any column here, including by growth, start term achievement, or end term achievement. You can select any grade to get information about the classes in that grade. Let's select grade 1. The first thing we see is an overview of grade 1. Next is the quadrant, where each point represents a class in the grade, and the G icon shows the median percentiles for the whole grade. Beneath the quadrant, we'll find the visualization that shows growth and achievement for each class within that grade. To get back to data about the entire school, use the All Grades button. If you want to get student details, select a median, the oval pill shape, or one of the colored bars in the distribution. If you select growth data, you'll see additional data points, including observed growth, how much the student grew, and projected growth, based on NWEA norms. That wraps up our tour. If you're ready to get started, I want to share one of my favorite ways to use the school profile report. First, think of a key decision you've made in the last few years. It could be a curriculum change, or the addition of intervention resources for a particular population. Now consider how you might generate school profile data that would help you evaluate the effectiveness of that decision. Do you want to look at data from one term, or look at growth between two terms, for a particular grade or class? Or maybe it would be helpful to filter data using the gender, ethnicity, or program filters. With those answers in mind, take a look at your report and see what insights it gives you. Let us know in the comments if you found your investigation helpful. Hopefully, you have everything you need to get started with the school profile report. Check the description for links to more resources.